Assalamu alaikum, wonderful viewers. Welcome back to another episode of the Political Hour Show here on Eco TV International, the People's Choice, where we invite politicians, youths, and women to discuss about the issues in our country here. And today, once again, we have Mr. Kurang, who I will talk with about the things that are currently happening in our country here. But we will talk to him shortly. Before that, you can kindly follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And sponsors are also invited. You can call on the numbers on the screen to sponsor this program. I am your host, Ture Mandimor. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Kurang.
Wa alaikum salam, Ture, and pleased to have you today and discuss about important issues.
Thank you very much. Well, today we will be talking about two major things that are currently happening in our country, and which are the IEC voter registration issue and the Senegal border crisis. But first, we will talk about the IEC registration issue. So, and currently they've produced some lists which are inconsistent, and there are numbers missing there. So, what is your overall assessment about this whole issue?
Thank you. I think overall, I would say maybe I'm a bit disappointed with the outcome of the supplementary registration exercise, because what I was expecting is that the IEC, being well financed and well equipped, they came to do the registration, everything was computerized, and I understand what that means. So as a computerized system, they should have been able to produce the results within 24 hours after the closing of the registration exercise. They use a similar techniques just as every other bank. And in banking, they close the books, they fill the accounts 1 minute after the last transaction at the close of day. That's what a software, that's what a database does for you. So database principle is a scientific principle, right? Once the operation is over, it's a live system. And you can see that the IEC system is a live system. It gives you the date, the hour, the minute, and the second the voter is registered. If you look at the voter's card, you see all the details there. So that indicates that it's a live system. And the fact that they did not come out with a comprehensive report of the overall total number of registrations once. They did not come out with the number of voters' cards that they have cancelled, you know, and they did not come out with the list after the cancellation. Instead, what they have shown us is incomplete voters' cards. That, for me, is a big disappointment.
Yeah, and also there's another thing here which they posted about the Talinding constituency voter registration. And the center is Talinding Medina, Dutokoto, Bufa Zone, Islamic School, Talinding LBS. JTT South, JTT North, Jilfiti Kairaba, Talinding Bantaba. And the numbers that the IC gave and the numbers that the agent gave are quite different, like you can see here.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, and there are missing numbers here.
Yes.
What do you think is the real problem here? Whether the IEC are trying to do something fishy or...
Yeah, I mean, these are numbers that a lot of constituencies are doing now, and everybody must do. You know, if you are interested in the integrity of the election process. Numbers like that, you know, started with us in Bakau here. And when the IEC list came out, during the registration exercise, we took note of the number of registrations that the IEC was doing on a daily basis. And at the end of the exercise, we also took notes, you know, of the total number of registrations that were done. So we had our figures. So when the IEC published the results, you know, and then we had these results, we compared them with the results that we collected, the results we collected during the election, during the supplementary registration exercise, and we saw differences in Bakau. For example, in K Point, where I was supposed to be voting, right, we had 43 names that were omitted from the list, and we were sure that these people had registered, and we were sure that, you know, the ones that we know there have no problem with double registrations because they are young. So people came out for the fact that parents didn't find their name, the name of their children on this list, or friends and so on, and family. We raised the alarm. And I think that is when you have seen several constituencies doing the same. It's not only Talinding, it also happened in Latrikunda Sabiji, I saw within KMC here. And it happened, I travel out of the up country, and I see that it happened in so many, in Fuladu, it happened in Nyamina. So there are missing numbers everywhere. Now this is what I am saying, that, you know, why would we have missing numbers? This is a system that is completely automated. Just like a banking software, you cannot go to the bank and customers started finding missing amount of money in their accounts. Yeah. That doesn't happen in a bank. I was a bank auditor, and I remember that any time that happens, somebody must be held responsible within the bank. It's not the computer we held responsible, because we know what a computer do and can do or cannot do. So when we see those kind of missing things, these are not automatic electronic errors. You understand? These are errors that are caused by human intervention within the system. So, I mean, we're saying, you know, this raises suspicion of fraud, that somebody is trying to defraud the system. Somebody is trying to play with the system, because that's how, you know, it happens. In the bank, we said, even when $1 is missing in an account, we follow it. We follow a trail. We have what we call an audit trail. We follow a trail up to the last end. Why are we following $1? Because wherever $1 is missing, it could turn out that $1 million is missing. So I have this story when they're training you as an auditor at university, and then the professors always give us this story, right? In an American bank, they said, right, the auditors found a dollar missing, all right? And they couldn't understand. The books are not balancing because of $1. They followed it and followed it and followed it. And then what they realized is that somebody in the bank working in the IT department was actually deducting on a regular basis $1 or whatever is it, 1 cent from every account in the bank. You understand? So when a customer realized that $1 or a cent was missing in his account, he lodged a complaint with the bank, and the bank took it seriously. Maybe that customer had a mind of an auditor. So when they realized it, they realized that this guy had taken millions from the bank. So you cannot, when you see one voter missing, I would have complained and raised an alarm if I had only seen one voter missing. Not when I have seen 43 voters missing in one polling center and there are 1,500 polling centers. I mean, that is serious cause for concern. You see, when you are auditing a system, the same thing you audit money is the same thing you audit this kind of systems, electronic systems, right? You look for what is called audit trails. Every system has an audit trail. So you see, when the IEC make a tonku to explain, they have a system, and the system has an audit trail. The audit trail means everything that happened on the system is recorded somewhere. For example, the system will record that Rohi was here at 9 a.m., right? And then this is what he punched in. So the system, we call it a trail, an audit trail. That is never erased in any system that is credible. So the IEC should be able to provide response to the people in a timely manner of what is the problem, systematic problem. But you know what is disrespectful to the Gambian people, Rohi? What is disrespectful is the fact that they tell people, okay, anybody who don't see your name, come and complain. That is, I don't know what words I'm going to use to express that. The bank telling people, anybody who don't see your money, come to the bank and complain. Think about that. It's the same thing. Anybody who don't see your name on a register, come and complain. It's complete disrespect to the Gambian people. The law says that people have a right to information. The law says my data, simply because I deposited it with you, my biodata, simply because I gave it to you, you work at immigration or you work at the bank or you work in IC, it doesn't matter. It is still my data. It doesn't matter who is in custody of it. It is still my data. Nobody has the right to change it, manipulate it, do anything else with it without my permission. This is the law. So the IEC does not own the data. The data is owned by the people whose data they collected. So we have a right to the data. And when we cannot see our names on the data and the IEC fail to provide a consistent, reliable answer that is technical and justifiable, what do we say? That there is suspicion of fraud. Yes.
Okay, and with regards to this still, there's a list that is also going around, and there is a guy, a grown man, whose name is Aminata Barrow. Yeah, it is quite funny because he's a man, not a woman, not a girl, named Aminata Barrow. And this also raised a question: what is the problem really? And the United Democratic Party are telling the IEC for the consistent and the full list of the registered people that they have, and with the agents also submitted to them, and the full data which they have, they should give it to them. And people are also applauding the United Democratic Party for following the IEC to give out the raw materials which they needed for the consumption of the people, which will be needing for free and fair election. So what can you also tell us about that?
Yeah, I think the position of the party is clear. And the UDP is very right to say that unless you give us all the master list, before you make any correction, before you make any subtractions or additions, give us the master list, one. Yeah. Two, after you make rectifications, you said double registrations or duplications, right? They call it cleaning the data, right? Give us the list before cleaning, and give us the list after cleaning. Yeah. That's very simple. Then when you say that 14,000 names are erased because of double registration, the parties, the political parties must see who are the names. Every citizen must know whether your name has been eliminated and why it has been eliminated. You understand? That's a legal implication. But the IEC knows that even if a citizen feels wrongly treated by IEC, right, let's say wrongly deleted from the system, they know that you don't have the political, the legal maneuver between now and December 5th to rectify, because we know the IEC, they know people who took IEC to court in 2021, the court cases the IEC lost, but they were not effective at that moment because the time has passed, taken over by circumstances and time. So they know that line, taken over by circumstances and time. Therefore, legal redress for aggrieved parties is very limited if you want to make an impact for 2026. So that makes it more serious. Why should names be deleted from the systems? I think what the UDP said is very clear. Give us the full list, give us the list of the eliminations, and then give us the list after eliminating people. That's what, you know, the whole country is waiting for. Not to tell people, go and check if you see any correction, come and tell us. Catch us if you can. No, that's not professional.
That's provocative.
Yeah, that's provocative. They are provocating the population. They are, I mean, telling us they are behaving like they own the data, like it's a family property. They own it, so they can do anything with it, and they can take their time to correct it, which is illegal. They should not be sitting on this data by now without broadcasting it. Why? That's illegal. But, you know, in this election time, the IEC is untouchable, right? Because they know the law can be applied, but the law takes time. So, but I think that whole process makes the election questionable if these processes are not completed. And it makes people have a lot of thoughts about why did it take IEC to announce the results in 2021? 24 hours or more than 24 hours, 48 hours before they could finalize the result. That is not excusable in a country of 1 million voters. In Senegal, Dakar alone has more population than Gambia. Yeah. Within 2 hours, they were able to count all their results. And their results are even more easy to count because it's not tokens. It's paper balloting. It takes more time. But they calculated everything and tell the results to the people. And the political party, the opposition, the UDP, and all the other political parties must insist that in 2026, the results is announced by 9 p.m. And that's another problem. If you confuse the database, and then people don't find their name, then they come on election day, they want to vote. Your name is not on the list. Yeah. How are you going to vote? Okay, they can tell you, IEC can tell you, like somebody tell us in the IEC office, the law can allow you to vote by writing your name on a blank piece of paper. But listen to that. Your name on a blank piece of paper makes the system open to abuse. How? when people come to a polling center, they don't find their name. That alone, number one, is a chaos. Number two, if they can't find their name and they insist, IEC has to allow them. Did IEC have the number of tokens at that moment to serve all those people who came? How is the IEC going to authenticate people who came with cards? How are they going to authenticate those cards manually? How? In 1,500 locations around the country. How are they going to do that? That opens room for fraud. That opens room for voting until late at night and then waiting for results until 24 hours. That opens room for fraud. So sometimes you do things, even if you insist that this is not fraud, but if it opens room to fraud, then how do we call it?
This is serious. Well, with also regards to the double registration, IAC also announced that if you are caught of such things, of fraud registration, you will be fined for $500,000, sent to prison for 2 years. So do you believe that these penalties are proportionate?
No, I mean, these are disproportionate. If you'll be fined for double registration and sent to jail. You see, did you say sent to jail? What about if somebody delete our data? Where should they be sent to? Without authorization, illegally. You tamper with our data. You eliminate our names from the list. Where should you go to? So that's disproportionate. But if they say they don't make the law, fine. They don't make the law. Maybe the law is, that's a question for the parliament. The law is with the parliament. They have to change the law. But it shows you the, the imbalance. Right, the disproportionateness in the electoral process. Because, well, I believe that people who do register twice should be penalized. Right, particularly if it is obvious that they want to defraud the system. Some people, they can come to a polling center, it's true, and they forget that they got the card in 2021, then they are trying to get a card for 2026 because they think that you should get it. And they may ask them, I don't know, do you have a card? They may misinterpret it as, do you have a card with you? I don't have it, it's lost. Or they may register again, right? So they need to be eliminated. They cannot exist in two registers, 2021 and 2026. But what about if somebody register in, let's say, Bakau, and then go back and register in Kanifing or in Joswang? I mean, that's illegal. That's intentional. Because those kind of people really know that they are registering twice. There should be penalties or consequences, right? I think it's open to debate what the penalties should be. They could be banned from voting, right, for that particular year, and then they could be fined, whatever. But I mean, it's a crime. When they said to jail, what they are telling you is to tamper with voting system is a crime. So now what we have to tell them, it doesn't matter whether it's an ordinary citizen or it's an IEC employee. To tamper with the electoral data and the electoral process is a crime. So I think the IEC reminding people that registering twice is a crime. The people should remind them that tampering with voter data is a crime.
I think that should be clear enough.
Yes.
Yeah. And finally, with regards to this registration issue, do you have the confidence in the IEC to give a free and fair processing issue, since right now things are tensed up and people no more have the confidence in them that they are going to provide a clear list for the people?
I don't think we should fear them so much to think that they can do whatever they want. No, they cannot do whatever they want. They can only do whatever they want if we sit down and kept quiet and pretend not to know what is happening, like some political parties are doing right now. They are sitting down, they're pretending that they don't know. They are talking about coalition. Yeah, if we all do that, the IC will do whatever we want. You can form coalition of 1,000 parties. If that system is messed up, you will lose elections.
I think that is one of the major reasons, which is why the Gambian people are applauding United Democratic Party for stepping up.
Yes, we have to step up. So we cannot just sit and say, oh, we don't have faith in this electoral system, we're going to boycott the election. We are not going to boycott this election. What we are going to do is to pressure them. Every possible means we have to make sure that the information is correct and up to date and we go for voting, and to make sure that on the voting day, nobody votes. If you your name is not on the list. All right? Nobody votes if your name is not on the list. And the way to make sure of that is to make sure that everybody who registered, your name is on the list before the election day. We, the opposition, have to make sure of that. Gambians have to make sure of that. Whatever it takes to pressure IC to do that, we have to do. Then when it comes election day, nobody will vote if your name is not on the list. And voting must close at 5. Right? Except people who are on the line. Yeah, we know what's happening. 600 people in a stream. Right? How can it take a whole day up to 9 o'clock at night? A stream is not more than 1,000 people in one stream. Right? Generally. So how will it take up to night for voters to be cast? No, we have to make sure that IC does what it is required to do by the law. Produce a genuine, complete register. And on voting day, nothing should be accepted by the political parties that will bring irregularity and fraud.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And now we'll be moving on to the Senegal border issue. And just last week, the military of Senegal, they came to our borders and claimed that there's a certain part of block which belongs to Senegal, and they demolished part of our camp which was built like 10 years ago by the former president Yahya Jammeh. And this raised anger among the people of the Gambia, because they feel like these people are tramping on their dignity and their integrity of their land, because there was no dialogue, no formal discussions, just that we just saw them demolishing our thing. And then the military of the Gambia, what they did was wonderful, because they were just there, they didn't retaliate. God knows if they retaliate, what would have happened there. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think the military of the Gambia behave with maturity and professionalism. Yeah. I think they are brave men, because brave men always behave with maturity and professionalism. So what I saw them refusing to engage that action by the Senegalese, because the Senegalese and the Gambians together are in charge of the security of Gambia and Senegal. Yeah. You cannot secure Senegal without Gambia. We saw the Casamas War. It couldn't finish because they had to have the kind of cooperation that with Gambia that is a twin partnership. And then we know Gambia here, our security is very loose. If the Senegal border is loose, how many times have bandits come and attack shops in North Bank and other places in this country and go away with people's goods and run into Senegal? So without Senegal, we are not secure without the cooperation of Senegal. Without the cooperation of Gambia, Senegal too is not secure. There are people outside said, oh, Gambia is the tongue of Senegal. But we all know, no matter how angry you are, you don't bite your tongue. So that's it. Gambia, a destabilized Gambia is a destabilized Senegal. And the presidents know this. The commander-in-chiefs know that. The army know that. I don't take that incident in an emotional way. People say there was no dialogue. I feel there was dialogue. Barrow is the commander-in-chief of the army of the Gambia. Jomai is the commander-in-chief of the army of Senegal. The two of them were talking a few weeks ago. Yeah. So I cannot say there was no dialogue. I would not say there was no dialogue.
Yeah, and some people are saying that this is suspicious because Jomai was here week before this incident.
And Make is here with Mbalo, the coup d'etat man. Right, he was also here. He left and he gave his position to the army. He refused to give it to the democratic government. Very bad image he was entertaining at the Gambia State House. And then this thing happened at the border. This will never be, the Gambian army will never fight for Barrow, will never cause trouble for Barrow to benefit or profit from it. They didn't fight for Jawara when the coup d'etat came in '94. Why? If you let the country go, security go, so lapse, who's going to stake their life to die for you? They didn't fight for Jammeh in 2016 because he's responsible for the actions he took. Whatever security problem happened, if Senegal come to Gambia and take a helicopter and pick Barrow from State House, I mean, who cares? He's liaising with Make. We don't know what he's talking to Make about. He's liaising with Mbalo, a very dangerous man. We don't know what he's talking to Mbalo about. He's liaising with Jomai. I'm not blaming Jomai for anything. I think whatever suggested will come from Barrow to Jomai, not from Jomai to Barrow. Because he was there for 10 years before Jomai. So I am not blaming anybody. And my advice is Gambian National Army should never even fight the Senegal. To fight Senegal is when you have a dictator in Senegal who oppresses Senegalese people. And then when he finishes oppressing Senegalese people, he takes guns and enter Gambia. Then we fight him. But there is no dictatorship in Senegal. It's a democratic government. Don't you see what the parliament is doing to him? There is no dictatorship there. So there is no fight between them. We will never fight Senegal. We will only fight them what I tell you. When they have a dictator, and the dictator oppress the people of Senegal, and then come to the Gambia and want to oppress us, we will all fight. We and the Senegalese people together will fight the dictator. And we and the Senegalese people will fight a Gambian dictator. So there is no problem with Senegal. Together we want to, Gambians and Senegalese want Barrow to end his third-term bid. That's why Jomai took over as the chairman of ECOWAS. To the happiness of all Gambians and Senegalese, because ECOWAS, to give Barrow a chairmanship, is to legitimize his third term. And no Senegalese want a third term. No Gambian want a third term. Gambians and Senegalese, we are one. There is everybody. Don't you have a relative in Senegal? All of us have relatives in Senegal, right? If you are a Gambian, you don't have relatives in Senegal. Maybe you come from Chad. If you are a Gambian, you don't have relatives in Senegal. Where do you come from? We will question your citizenship. So what I'm saying is that we all have relatives in Senegal. We're not going to go and fight to kill our cousins. Our cousins will never come and fight and kill us unless they have a commander-in-chief that's a dictator. And we will wait for that. Gambians are brave people. They never run away, and they are not running away. But they are not fighting for Barrow, and they are not fighting things that Barrow don't know. No army will fight that. Only a foolish soldier will put himself into that. We have no problem with Senegal. We have a problem with our president. When he goes, we'll be able to define our borders in a democratic way. We'll install a leadership that understands the law, that understands international boundary negotiations, that understands the rights of citizens and sovereignty of a nation. And we will put proposals to Senegal. The Gambia and Senegal must work together as one economy in order to build a synergy where 1 + 1 is not 2, but 3.
So do you also believe what our military did was the best?
It was the best possible action from the Gambian military. A very professional army, you look at it like this. Very professional, highly trained, very disciplined men. I said they were not foolish to fight, when Jammeh said, he's going to fight and erase people from the face of the earth. The Gambian army was cool and calm. Nobody everybody was cool and calm. So Barrow cannot think that he will make Gambians panic to the extent that we are firing at Senegal or Kalantaya. That will not happen here.
Okay, since time of favor can do move on to the next thing. Coalition of another quarter, but I prefer local language put some of our viewers. Okay. Coalition of another quarter, bearing adatita, Diamo Siata la Carola, bearing Molialo Neko undisputedly United Democratic Party in that opposition on la Caro. It only one of the biggest. So coalition of la Carola, yaitandila ko. Il flag be His Excellency Usain Dabo, all by Kela coalition leader. But some people disagreed. Very careful, the people like Bensuda, careful, numbers matter. Mim matata, you ko discuss. So say, either for Emina Jawato. Numbers or.
Yalo. Tilove Bokang, Molka for develop to me, Tilove Boka. Molia Jele. Politics, Nico, is to say politics without numbers. That's madness. Because to be president, you just need to beat everybody by 1 vote. Janika Kamansat, Yanta Mobile and Kase killing. Constitutional Wolof, near more than Walla Dorong, you are the leader. You are the president elect. Yeah. So what does that mean? That's called numbers. They will count. When it reaches when anybody who beat by 1 vote becomes the president, that's counting. And then the political scene side is so obvious. Look at the election exercise we are doing. Where are the other opposition parties? They disappeared. How can you just be sitting in a hotel waiting for coalition talks? That's been happening for 5 years. People are struggling. Me, when I was not in UDP, I don't believe in the fact that you have to call your politician. I never believe in that. But UDP has invested thousands of man hours, millions of dollars for the past 5 years. Even after Barrow said we lost to him, millions of dollars into equipment, mobilization, the grassroots. It's a grassroots political party. You know, for people like Charlie, their mission has already failed, because when they said UDP will collapse when they left, UDP got stronger and stronger. The administrative structures in KMC here, I tell you, I've been around all collecting data. Every administrative structure in the 7 constituencies in KMC is intact. That's grassroots. That's not Hussein Udabo or Yam Seka or somebody else. That's grassroots. They're telling you that even if the leadership goes, the grassroots is there. The infrastructure use yajeleko kabrinyin fonko yin register no kera UDP bla belet. Wala na kabrinyin ko kera IC UDP yin figures membe ka funtina UDP slayer be funtin. To expose party me yalon ka prepare tele kanyim banko ke on a right track. At the moment. For me, that's why I believe that the UDP, we should all join them and elect Hussein Udabo as the president. Look at the guys from the PPP, right? They said, "Munati na mobeta la diam hotel teaming ning jikandi ming ning kini kandi domon ning cool hotel to drunk. Alcohol be Gambia la fate decide la wala molbe ulokon." So I go, let us go and join UDP. I feel like UDP join. Ning formality ne coalition diamo fan JP. Ning group do sita wol ko itol mu coalition negotiator le. Ning group do fana negotiator, ning group do jana fana negotiator. Itol fall that man one platform form to bring the coalition together. UDP man platform form, UDP momo invite yetaje. But now you have, I don't know, Gambia for this, and then another coalition there, think tank there. I mean, what is it? Obe momenti ka more confusing the nyimbanko kan katunko nina ta ka fo mole ko party-led coalition. We don't support it. Itole muna support. Mo clean na lesi. Briefcase politician. Me along ko in a meeting organized in any village in LRR or URR or there, and they are contesting. You now see, you go, okay, now let us select among us who should lead. Forgetting about the people. Where is that democracy? They want to seize our democracy. They want to capture our democracy. Democracy is people go to their political parties and choose. It will find all be in political party, of course. But you come with a political party, how many other people do you bring? You understand how many other people do you bring? The UDP was in all the polling centers. That was about 1,500 people, at least, they deployed in this last election. You know how much that cost? Your political support, no matter how much you call, it's not even more than 1,500, our agents around the country. I mean, it's expensive, right? Yeah. It's very expensive. Sweat and blood. People more will sacrifice come. Say more will sacrifice beke ite kata ika more leader disrespect. Ika for eko ite killing nata, killing nyantanala, na simbo inko kala nyame. Ila umol membebe koma nyinela. That's what is they said they don't support party-led coalition. Well, you call it mean. Omu disrespect like. I think Ning UDP volunteered until to sit down with political parties. Maybe alonko. They are new, they are small, or they are old, but they are not investing. Imantara ila taimoni la watu ke kanje kaje ko Gambia men kona boje. Ni UDP na connect with those people. You need to appreciate that. I think already UDP has. I know I have deployed thousands of people in the bush as agents and party stalwarts or organizers. The structures are there. I have campaigned rigorously 5 years. Even after I lost the presidential, I participated in the National Assembly. Ita mometeje. Kabin deputy wato sita momeje aita la parti je. Councilor ya nata momete la parti moy. Momal je, momal moy. Mayor ya fana nata ni chairman ya momal je, momal moy. Say won to UDP o pay participate. O bota je wato men na ite put jumpita na ko say al nga president choose. Lente la parti choose. De nyindol wol me alon ko they replay the mandate. Itol be KMC le mo le carte faye. Itol ko mu dindi le di londo be bulle. Kebal me ye carte faye ko wol man fellong. So they don't more contact the itata to yela fansu club or from KMC comme political party. O manke political party be sili mo la tax money kan. Marché wol be noring ibe yai na dulal be to be dilamu na dulal be to telia mi politico mu telephone diamol. Nim politico ni man du nyamo kono nyamo e ibalo be faram ni man politico dati follow nyum bako kande. So ibe menna ibe kalabante yalla. Bawo ye mo la mandate le sunya. Nim mo le vote as a mayor or as an MP. Or as a councillor. Ite wuti yarfas ila mol me afaye mo respect. Itam politician ol. Itam mun politician sifalti. Itam mun karafas songa ko ni parti ding muitati. Ite wulta faye ka fo be parti to. Anu mo po parti nyanta bulale te normal. Itam mun parti ding sifalti. Karafas song UMC. So they know already that there is no people are not going to be fooled. Baronyolio idea me wafija nyimbanko kan sai gambianol fan tat ndada nyamina man nyamina la joge madem fa me be mer bi mun gaay wawon nañ bulen fa sani lawyer dabo sosela dinañ daxat yi why lolu fen la now people know that the false story that the NPP was selling in 2021 is false, and I'm going around all the country. That's what people are saying. Do dega. But they sell it, and they know. After that, we voted 2021. What did they say? Chono Marsebi, Nyapako died. Marseola bata, Karambunjola bata, Lopitanola bata, Cash power la bata, Manibodo la bata, Bekili, woman said for you, Monsilet, Nya Tolbo, Fola in the city, or Bull for a more. Isalongo, Bunja Lola, Dunia Carol, Malaf Molia, or Tojibe. Baro na la molbe ya ile be story we Afrika molma ka ho mole ko kana fa UDP senda bo bal bayla in banko kan senda bo la musu musol fan manke mani god sai senda bo binanya ya fa mol bayla in banko nyim banko mo mobile trati fa fula ndol de fula kontone ben my son fula bunka mani ga kana my grandmother is a Wolof fana from Salum. Everybody in this country is mixed. How are you going to come and tell me, Mamadi, your relatives who are Wolof, some of my relatives, our cousins in Salum, we speak to them in Wolof. Some of our cousins who are Fulas, we speak to them in Fula, whatever we can. So how are you going to tell me that, oh, it's time now? Mamadi, your family members who are not Maninga should go and leave the Gambia. Are you crazy? So this is the lie the MPP was selling in 2021. That lie has crystallized and collapsed. Gambians are listening. Matsebi, never discriminate. The Americans say the economy is stupid. It means that the economy does not discriminate. It doesn't care whether you are NPP or UDP. The economy doesn't care. The market doesn't care. Bag of rice doesn't care. Cash power doesn't care. Your rent doesn't care which tribe you are or where you are, right? All your food expenses doesn't care. So what you need to do is to look at the country, take it away from people who don't even know how to negotiate with Senegal. Much more how to deal with the rest of the world. They bungle up the OIC conference because they don't know what diplomacy means and being honest and giving reports and completing projects. Still now they are working on the OIC roads, decorating the roads. It's not finished. Decoration of the roads should have been finished before the conference. The conference is 1 year ago. They have not finished decorating the roads. All these road projects that you see, because of corruption, they are flooding because they do not have sewage system. They should have had a tunnel. Every road should have got a proper drainage system. Proper drainage. But why? Because cheap roads, no engineering, no technology, no science applied there, no logic applied. No proper structural engineering. So therefore, people's compounds be flood. Mola scoral be flood come. Mola family be tinyala. People are losing millions because of the recklessness of a corrupt government. Well, now what to see kajibe go nyimbanko? It is time to forget our line sentiments bembe. Sidi njanyol be tapale akumol menateng. Moli alonko wobe banko bulala dinkole kono. Abe bulala dinkole kono. Anyanta Siri Njai negotiate with the Senegalese. Tell the Senegalese why. The way he's protecting Barrow. Barrow is no more fan kana Molia. Barrow, but who is guarding Barrow? Is he not Senegalese?
The worst the Senegalese can do to Gambia is what? Come and put Barrow in a helicopter and take him away. So why are they saying Gambia is fighting Senegal? Let Sidinja and Barrow go and fight Senegal. We have no problem with Senegal. I love my Senegalese cousins.
Okay, tema fantanata bandulato. Sembe bula doro yelo kumala ban fo vivo sole janembita.
Ba fola mole ko saintem na message yobita election wala election process. I see election process amambande. Mo beta yeto jibe. Yeto jibe ye nyinin karoge. Ni me toje kaito bala. Right? Kafo ko kamo call IC kafo ha ay nto ito bijane to be computer kono mol mo fo loi ko IC ya publish so ni me to ye publish one kono ya consider ko ito tije hani mol ko ito bijele nim another publish one man funtina ye to jije isalon ko ito tije bar kamo call IC kafo ko ha nto jibe ba IC no ito nyanta tarna paste dum banta bal ni to man futa banta bado election lu ni na tay balon ko ito be betal la molle kon me yalon ko ni card be bulle bay ni ito man taraje so mol nyanta men kala sainteng ka bulela party official noma la local area party militants ya itandi la ko ito man taraje to put pressure until IEC bring out a full list until you have list bondi all the cancellations because of double registration and then until they bring the final list for the election for December 25th. Nobody should stop. I'll stop the Abdullah. Okay.
Okay, abaraka bake Mr. Kurang. Inshallah ngaji kimba time do fana sotala mi yalla ko wato ba gana jam falal.
Inshallah.
So abaraka bake for honoring this invitation. Badim jibir la felenti natana programme mo bandulato being a Mr. Kurang na sotoka ko chami yalla ko coalition lo ko lew border issue le minketaning Senegal tema just recently and voter registration supplementary registration ko mi yalla ko sententing alambulende na bankoka so ngani ko le kacha alsem follow Facebook TikTok Instagram pour alnya video full video nje ane ku jama mi yalla ko nka discuss na platform mode ala barka bake anal badi malaro yetu toure man na camera lady sol fana be tentu la be jela Fatimata ning Maymuna ala barka bake